because we do that a lot where it's
Sure. Do
like
you
I don't.
think it's a common thing?
Yeah, I mean we do it a lot with us certainly. I don't know exactly if I've certainly haven't seen that much in any other like actual plays that I've followed with masks or anything like that where the GM will go. I mean, occasionally you'll say, I don't know, do you think you should take a powerful blow from that? Yeah, maybe if you're going to do like a one shot or you're trying to get a read on the characters, but I can certainly imagine groups where I'd be like, okay, take a powerful blow. Like you're in, but there's so much. It's just it's half me reminding myself that as much as I feel like I understand the characters, I mean, I got 36 sessions to, and literally novels worth of text to read about the characters. I probably have a pretty good read about what's gonna, and I could certainly, say, hey, take a powerful blow, and nobody would probably bat an eye, and I'll do that sometimes. But it's not like a normal hit, Like I can say there and say, hey, take guilty or whatever, but take a powerful blow is a weird. It isn't like okay, he hits you for two d12 damage, you take 14. It isn't like that. It's a super subjective thing, like to say,
Oh, it's
you take a powerful blow from that. Do I really? I don't know that I care that much about that. You kind of want to make sure. In some cases, yeah, and also sometimes I'll miss it. I'll be like, not doing it, and Mike or Bill or whoever will be like, I feel like I should be taking a powerful blow from this. So like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, wow, okay. Look at me accidentally hitting you. You know,
well, and I think that I mean, to me, take a powerful blow is sort of to the premise of the story, which is not so much about the heroes doing hero things as much as it is about you know and changing and
yeah,
things like that. And so the powerful blow fits so perfectly into that whole
yeah,
you know concept of label shifting or concept of you know self.
yeah. There's certainly ways to play. I mean, I have more than a few times thought like you could play a more antagonistic, almost, I mean, like an Amber Throne War kind of thing with this game set, really, without even filing the serial numbers off very much. It would totally work. You could play it a lot more antagonistic with people, like shifting labels and using your
So it would
influence.
be really interesting as an amber
Oh,
non-cooperative game.
well, I
Know,
mean, you end up
using the
working together.
mechanics.
You end up working together certainly, but there's a you could
Bring.
do it,
I
but
mean, that's the whole thing with.
we don't end up doing it that way with our game, but and that's part of the reason why we end up. I think there are certainly a lot of masks games out there where take a powerful blow is for when red steel punches you through a building, and that's fine. There's times when that's fun to do to make it really go like, okay, you just got punched by the Hulk, and every time he punches you, it's going to be take a powerful blow time, and that's kind of a, but way more of our take a powerful blows come from social
Has
stuff.
everybody seen Adventures yet?
Uh, I don't. I
What?
have. Have you seen the latest Avengers, Mike?
Oh no, I have not.
Okay, so we can't talk about it.
Thing.
Can't talk about it.
It was just something that made me.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many. It's kind of funny because like we just finished watching the second season of Jessica Jones, and it's you kind of watch those things going, hey, is there anything that? And Jessica Jones is not that show is not a show you can really mine for masks material. You just can't. Um, I mean, maybe a little bit. You really, really can't. But Defenders, oh my God, it's basically a masks game with 30 something guys. Like, it is absolutely a four person masks game, like right down to the ground, and it's kind of funny how they shift that.
Where
Um,
States
I
tries
don't know.
to.
I mean, Jessica does make a really good bull.
oh, I'm not saying the character doesn't work. I think she's more of a delinquent, but I mean, I'm not sure. I'm not saying her character doesn't work, and she absolutely does in Defenders, but the storyline in especially, well, actually both seasons, it just doesn't work in Masks. It's too Mask is not a dark game. It's a very deep game. I mean, there's a lot of emotional suffering and angst and investment and that sort of stuff, but it's not a dark game. I mean, there's really only one even playbook that you can introduce into the thing that really puts death on the table, and the resolution of that particular doomed character's arc was, I will take my nemesis and make them my next PC. So it did. I mean, that didn't even end up being. It was certainly fraught with lots of drama. I mean, the stuff with the dads was like hardcore drama, but it's not. It's that one.
But I think it's
That was
because
probably the darkest it's ever
set
gotten.
as, I think in part because it's set as teens, and there is sort of this, you know,
Yeah.
kids in jeopardy kind of, you know, pullback.
Well, and actually the book specifically says like death is not on the table. It's just not an option. Uh, Unless the player specifically asks for it, or the doomed is on the is or the doom's in play. Death just isn't on the table. It's very straightforward about that, and there's dials with that kind of thing. It makes me want to run what's interesting to me is the the game that people compare it to more than any other ones is Urban Shadows out of all the PTBA stuff. And it makes me I've kind of liked that game a lot, and it makes me want to run it at some point in time just to see if it's actually that cool, that.
Oddly enough, Urban Shadows is like one of the more semi-antagonistic of the games.
Well, it wasn't that it was like that kind of play necessarily was the same, but they were comparing it to the sort of unexpected depth of it. Like it looks simple, and then you start getting into like the factions. There's like it's a city. It's like an urban. I don't want to compare it to Harry Dresden because that's not actually a compliment coming from me. But
I like the
it.
first Cherry Dresden.
I'm not saying I'm not. There's lots of. Trust me, you are much less alone than I am in liking Harry Dresden. So that's totally fine. I
Fun. I get progressively less likey as
yeah.
it goes.
I don't enjoy him. I like the TV show. I didn't like the books at all. So
I really like the TV show. That was what I got started with.
yeah.
But I have a bunch of stuff signed by Jim Butcher.
Yeah,
So
I have been told by everybody that he's a very nice guy, and I'm sure that's probably true. I just don't get into the books that much. Like, but Urban Shadows is the kind of thing that you can run like Rivers of London off of, or something like that, and that is high praise for me. And they have these faction things, and the way the factions work is kind of like the same way the sort of influence stuff. It's got that level of like, oh, it looks super simple, but it's not. And as you start to get into it, it really, I don't know, it really starts messing around. And yeah, some of the stuff you read in the book doesn't. This is true. I'm talking about masks now. Some of the stuff you read in the book reads a certain way, and then you get it in play and like, oh, it looks like this, and it's really not. It's this other thing, or maybe that's the way we're playing it, like label shifting because of something that you say to somebody where like it seems like super antagonistic, but the way we're framing it is very rarely framed as I'm forcefully telling you who you are, and because of that you're just going to like be shook by that and your labels are going to shift. It's much more like the label shift is almost happening unconscious, like it's not an intentional thing
I think
most of the
usually when the
time.
label shifting comes around, it's based on, our perceptions of how to, influence the character.
Yeah, somebody's words might have an effect on you, but they might not realize it. And the adults, I mean, I guess even in the adults' case where they're specifically trying to say, dude, you need to have your head more on a swivel. You got to be more like this and less like that. And they're trying to coach. It's not like they're really, you know, you know what part of it is? We don't have a lot of characters, exception of Adam. We don't have a lot of characters with real authority over the over the PCs.
oh, as far as like somebody else who can,
NPCs.
Yeah,
yeah.
we don't have.
We're kind of Disney-esque in our lack of living parental figures.
Yeah,
I,
with the
I,
exception of
spec-
Adam and Adam's parents kind of. I mean,
I specifically wanted it, so I made sure I went out of my way to get it.
yeah, and
Yeah, but I think it's if you look back at it, like it's you and Harry. It's
I'm
either
here.
don't have parents or have parents significantly disengaged from their
yeah.
lives.
Well, and Harry's folks are pretty hands off, and Adam's parents are more like they're the heaviest hammer blow that they're going to bring down is a look of real disappointment. Like that's.
I think
Yeah, but for Adam, that speaks volumes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
But it's a much subtler thing than say a Young Justice frame up where Batman is saying this is what you're going to do. And if you don't do what I say you're going to do, you're off the team. There isn't that kind of a frame up. And there absolutely could be, but it definitely changes, I think. You don't have those dynamics of adults like sort of giving orders and really saying this is how it's going to be. That's not. I mean, the few people who would have done something like yeah, the few people who would have done something like that, Dave like preemptively removed their influence before he ever actually met them, So
Link was actually set up to allow this. We just never did it. So I just want to throw that in as well.
Well, yeah, Ted, you're right. Ted, my approach to Ted was a little bit more. I think it would have been different if he'd have been younger, but I mean, everything I was reading about Ted, like throughout the thing, was just he was so like. For him, it was almost like he was diffusing a bomb, trying to figure out Leo and where to put him and how to put him in environments that would yield a good kid. He just didn't seem like the kind of guy that was going to say, "Listen, damn it, kid, you got to do." He just wouldn't. There was so much momentum in the direction of careful, reasoned dialogue, if at all possible, with the kid. You know what I mean? So
yeah, but that is how you tell Link who he is.
Right. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not saying that Ted. I'm not saying that Ted didn't do that. But yeah, there wasn't that kind of setup where. I mean, if I'd had Costigan, I guess interacting with him more, there would have been a lot more like of that kind of interface, interface of like that. But we just, another group, another set of PCs, and it would be a completely different dynamic. We didn't have a protege. We didn't have the legacy happened to be that the legacy that we had kind of a happy-go-lucky legacy. So there wasn't that Batman legacy. There wasn't, it was much more of a, Barry Allen in his 40s as your dad kind of thing, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, random thoughts.
Yep. So I'm here. If we're waiting for anything else, that's fine. But yeah,
we were navel gazing about the game a bit. And it was interesting enough. I just hit record because I thought it was. I just think as much as we've gotten a really good job at probably handling the game, I still feel as though there's once you're inside the game, there's so many moving parts that continue to move that you can't really keep your eyes on and stuff. It's a much deeper game than you think it is. It looks like a simple little thing, and it really isn't, and it's good. Anyway, so bit of a late start, but that's okay. So when we last left our heroes, okay, so we have right now Harry, Leo, and Adam Concord are in Silver Streak's subconscious psyche, mental landscape, as represented by the HHL meeting room where you guys were first, where this drama with Streak's guilt kind of all came to the head, way back in session 20. And Ghost Girl Well, Alicia and Dave, we never got to that this week, and I apologize, but I feel like
No, that's okay.
we both had a lot of stuff going on. Alicia and Ghost Girl had various things going on, and concluded, at least in part, by touching base with one another at Alicia's current digs, and having her constant provocation of Parker about getting her own place or getting something or getting just out of her current incarceration setup, kind of blew up in her face when Waters kind of, or not Waters, when Parker got kind of touchy about it.
You mean that she discovered that Parker actually has a limit to the
Parker
amount of pushing she can be expected to take?
I'm fairly certain that Alicia's aware of some of Parker's limits as far as that goes, but this particular one she's had pretty free reign on, and seemed to have finally struck a nerve, I guess.
By Ghost Girl just walking through whatever security they had.
I might have to, yeah. It doesn't do much good. It rather pops the illusionary bubble that you're holding her in any kind of incarceration whatsoever when one of the team members, without even really, like, you didn't circumvent any security. You just went to go see Alicia, and security was circumvented in the process. Like, it was so non-issue, so much not an issue, that it really underscored the fact that they are really holding Alicia at the, they're being allowed to hold Alicia until the menagerie decides that that's no longer,
or Alicia.
Yeah, until somebody decides that's no longer an annoyance that you guys feel like dealing with. You know, that's been made completely unconsciously, but Charlotte has definitely made that, demonstrated that very clearly to some people who.
Great. So I get blamed, of course.
Well, you were the one mouthing off. I was being polite.
I was being polite.
None of it
For certain values of polite.
None of it was going to make Parker happy. It was. I am Groot. None of it was. None of it. No, we can't spoil. People haven't seen things. All right. All right. So, spoilers. Groot's in the Avengers.
What?
Let's.
That's in the
Sorry.
all of the TV things.
All right. Yes, I know. But that I have been told many times that it's in one of the trailers is not sufficient permission to discuss such things, so I'm not going to do that.
And how much my husband was avoiding all media, including the trailers or TV ads before this. I can agree with you.
I'm fairly certain there's a couple of trailers I didn't even see. Yeah, we had to go. Like Friday night, my wife's like, "I'm going to bed." It was like 8 o'clock. She's like, "I'm going to bed because the sooner I go to bed, the sooner I'm asleep. The sooner I'm asleep, the sooner I am that much closer to getting to see Infinity War before I get ruined by spoilers." It was just like she was trying to time travel forward to that point where she could look back.
Well, and we had, internal conflict. James gets serious kudos because he saw it on Thursday. We didn't see it till Sunday.
Oh dear. All
I
right.
went with
All right, so unavoidable tangents aside, I think I would like to begin with the mental thing, Bob, because the possibility of, and actually, timing-wise, I'm actually going to have this sort of, this is actually happening concurrently with Charlotte and Alicia's conversation in the machine shop. Okay? On the off chance that I can actually make that whole situation with Parker even worse by potentially having some sort of alarm go up and have Charlotte just grab Alicia and yank her out of there and say, sorry, something's come up, we got to go. and just leave Parker sitting there fuming. Um, so,
You really want me to get her grounded?
well, I mean, yeah, we'll see.
Oh.
We'll see. Okay, so we are, if I am not mistaken, we are. I'm getting a weird. Hang on a second. I gotta see where this is coming from. No, now it stopped.
It might have been me then, because I just muted whenever you said that.
Was it a? There was just a rustling going on. I don't know what it was.
Oh.
It was like a
Well,
fan. It sounded like a fan, like tracking back and forth across the. It was a very quiet. It might have been you. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Okay, so
we'll see.
as we, so we're in. So we have U3, and we are in the meeting room of the HHL. Shadowy figures there, representing all the sitting members of the HHL. Shadowy figures also standing in front, like standing where you guys had been standing during that whole conversation with the HHL that night at the Christmas party. Streak sitting at his seat with the burbling ball of energy twine sort of tesseracting in front of him on the desk. In the yellow, sort of anxiety yellow. It's very popular this season, anxiety yellow. And rather than sort of holding back this time, you guys sort of all three are kind of, you're like where the gathering of your shadow selves is at, you're probably 2 or 3 steps back from that. So you're kind of behind your own selves, so to speak. Harry, what do you do?
Not poke the ball of anxiety this time.
Good job.
I don't think you have any room to talk, Adam.
Hush.
So, okay, so we know what you're not doing.
I think kind of see if I notice anything else that has changed from our last visit.
Yeah, as you're looking, why don't you do me a assess the situation? That is superior. Bless you. Mercury rolls superior. 7. A hit. So when you assess the situation, roll superior on a template ask you. On 7, ask 1. Take +1 while acting on the answers. So what say you, Harry? What do you want to look? If you see the questions there?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think? Because there's a couple there that are pretty, like the fill in the blank first one there can be pretty.
I used to save streak.
Okay. What is different from last time though? It was the original thing, and I'm going to answer. In answering that, I'm going to see if I can't illustrate that other question or answer that one as well. So as you're sort of sitting there and kind of saying, just don't touch anything. When you were here before, nobody was really moving. It was just so Streak was there, and everyone's just sort of standing in a tableau. And Streak was there with the ball and everything, like sort of staring into that. And now it's not like this time. It's not like that. We mentioned before, like people were sort of like wreathed in certain kinds of colors. So there was some anxiety color around Harry's shadow, and around Hecate, and that was most of that there. A little like sort of lightly around some of the other members of your team. Some blue around Tempest, things like that. And that's still true, but what you're seeing now is that, like there's more color around some more of the HHL, and you've got like oh god, I'm blanking on the HHL names. I need to grab that. I feel terrible. Blackbird. Was it Blackbird? Yeah, it was Blackbird. So Blackbird was the one in the sort of the power armor, that the flying power armor that was had been leading a couple things. And what she's saying though is not, thank you, Bill. What she's saying though is not really what was happening when you guys were in there. When she goes, listen, there was stuff that we had to do. It wasn't, the best option, but we didn't have best options. We did what we had to. We made a hard choice. It's just, it's not like you could have done any better. And as she's saying this stuff, it's very, sort of confrontational stuff that light around her sort of intensifies in the stress of it. And then you've got, and in a weird way, this is clearly street. So it's horrible and fascinating, and also from maybe a viewer's point of view, kind of ridiculous and funny, because everyone is sort of like very parody of each other. There's what's that anime where everybody's like they're like the main character's like a lawyer? I object, something like that. Doesn't really matter.
I know that one.
You know what I'm talking about? But like
Harvey Birdman
or any of
Phoenix?
Right.
Phoenix, there you go. Phoenix, yeah. But it's one of those, it's kind of like everybody's portrayal is almost like the early episodes of Batman, the animated series, where their arms kind of are bendy and sort of snappy, and when their fingers point, the fingers too big, and kind of over exaggerated. So when they're pointing accusing figures, they're just their arms reaching out longer than it really should. And then you guys, your shadow people are like, the Harry Shadows is like, I can't believe that my parents could ever be a part of this, and like kind of throwing his forehead up against his arm. And then, Leo steps forward and he's like, this is completely unacceptable. How are you supposed to be role models for younger heroes if you can't even act like a hero? But it's not that he's saying this stuff, it's that he's like saying it and he's sort of like in a Voltron Heroes pose, and there's Wizzies behind him.
He's emoting it.
He's totally Voltron emoting. But he's like, it's like the episode of Voltron where Karan is like doing the show. Like,
Does he have a gray streak? Does he have a gray streak in his hair?
No, he does not have a gray streak in his hair.
I will after this nonsense.
But the Fire Island players?
But yeah, yes. Like the Fire Island players from Avatar. It's all like super dramatic, and it's also kind of like how you realize Streak sort of sees people. So like there's sort of like this halo around Harry, Golden Boy kind of thing, but at the same time he's like bothered by everything, and Leo's like super righteous, and Adam's the Shadow Adam's just sort of sitting there and watching everything like this just tennis match. But there's it's the total like Steven Universe, totally like chibi Steven Universe with big watery like toddler eyes, looking like, why are mommy and daddy fighting, back and forth between everybody. Jason's just moping in the corner and kicking himself, like literally kicking his own leg. How can you snap Streak out of this? The shadows, the shadow selves, Harry, are hollow, and of course Hecate is just over there, like sort of hissing at everybody, like, and saying stuff like, the most everything she says is sort of a remix of various Wicked Witch of the West things from somewhere from Wizard of Oz. Like she literally has green skin whenever she talks.
I'll get you my pretty
Exactly.
little
It's
dog Toto too.
super annoying nasal voice, which isn't nearly as annoying as Hecate's actual voice, but still like, bad. If you took Kira Sedgwick and then auto-tuned her to be like just off key. Harry, the shadows though are hollow things. You can literally, as they're moving around, see them as though they were like smoked glass mannequins. They're not that solid, but they have that sense of just being balloon people. Especially whenever they're not actually in the midst of doing something. So when they're in focus, then they sort of gain color and depth and weight and reality, and they do their bit, and then they sort of subside back to this sort of shadowy emptiness. Maybe you can take yourself over, insert yourself into this ridiculous thing and get it back under control, because clearly your dad's either completely cracked or he's spiraling, because everyone is just, it's something you can't tell if it's better or worse than last time, because last time it was just like, welcome to the pit of despair, here's me staring at this thing in my hand, and now it's like somewhere between like a nightmare and a madhouse. Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's like the Fire Island players, as Margie said, but creepier. There's definitely an undertone of menace to the whole thing.
Wait, with the theater burning down behind them?
Yes, and they're all ignoring it. So there's definitely a creepifying factor to it. What do you do?
Can I punctuate that with actual Adam standing next to fake Adam being like, Harry, what do we do?
Sure. Yeah, with the actual like, and at the same, and you can't help but notice that although it's not nearly as bad, there is a sense of the big wide eyes, looking to the bigger kid for the answer, kind of. Actually, when he says that, his little simulacrum actually kind of turns, but kind of starts to turn towards real Harry, but turns towards sort of Shadow Harry and says, Harry, what do we do? And like echoes that about 3 or 4 seconds after Adam actually says it. And much more
Creepy.
emoted.
Creepy.
You broke up. Say that again?
That is creepy.
Yeah, it is creepy. It is creepy. What do you do?
That like a horrible plan. Looking more at my shadow self and
Because your shadow self isn't doing much except for looking very disappointedly at Streak and sort of shaking whenever the camera, which is to say Streak's attention, cuts to him. and he comes sort of into focus and sharpens up and gets that weight, he basically just looks at either one of his parents, usually both, but typically Streak, and just shakes his head sadly in disappointment, you know. And then
So
and then it loops, you know.
we broke Streak.
I mean, it's possible you can snap, because it is kind of a cycle. It's just every time it's a cycle but it's also kind of a spiral. Like everything just kind of gets a little bit worse every time it sort of cycles through a lot of this stuff. So
Can I put myself in place of my shadow self?
yeah, you might. I mean, you can step in there and try to
Kind of block Streak's view of it.
or yeah, I mean, like I said, it's hollow. You can step into that place and maybe supplant it. Does that make
Okay,
sense?
that's what you meant by hollow.
Yeah, like it's a empty thing. It's a shell. It's I don't know. If I could draw, I would have drawn it ahead of time. So what do you want to try that? See if you can like sort of assert yourself there and take over the Harry position.
Wrong.
Say that again.
What could go wrong? At
Yeah,
least I'm not poking yarn this time.
Okay. So you get a +1 forward on this. Okay. I feel like I rewrote this at some point, but I'm not going to worry about it right. Well, wait, maybe I did. Hang on. Looking for a move that I did. Yeah, this is what I'm looking for. Hey, look at that. All right. This will work. All right, so Harry. Did you guys just get it like a thing pop up for you or no?
For mine.
You did. I want it to show up for everybody.
I did not.
All players. Save
I did not.
changes. Show to players. How about now? No?
I don't like this.
Sorry? I guess? Maybe? For those of you who can't see it, you should be able to see it. If you look in the second tab, there should be a move there for when something attempts to control or manipulate your mind. Roll superior. So, Harry, you roll superior, but take a +1 on it. And you have two people here who can help you, which will be fun.
Awesome.
So let's find out what we got. Oh boy. Oh my god.
You did this to me.
Oh god. Okay. All right. When something attempts
That
to
did not go as well as planned.
on a 10 plus, shake it off. On a 7 to 9, choose one. You're stunned for a few moments while you shake it off. For feel blue compulsion, take -1 to act against the source.
Harry, you don't have your +1 in there, so you actually got a 5.
You actually got a 5.
1.
What? Oh, you did. You did.
It's not showing it. It's just showing 0 as a modifier.
Because if he
Added
had
one.
if he had a -1, it would
Oh,
come
there
in.
was nothing in there. It didn't have any.
Yeah. See, his superior is penalized right now, so he's actually at a -1 to roll. So the +1 gives him a 0. Which I apologize. I didn't realize that you were currently limping on superior. That wasn't my intent to hit you twice where you live, but okay. So there's still options to pull this out, but this actually gets me right where I was like joking about possibly getting earlier. So Harry steps forward into the Harry shadow, and he starts to like this is a very speedster kind of a thing, but he starts to sort of turn like he's going to walk over towards his dad, but the outer sort of shell casing whatever is sort of pulling, and it doesn't look like he's pulling against a balloon or something like that. It looks like a speedster, like the vibration stuff where you're sort of blurring. So there's like that resistance where he's almost in two places at once, and he can't seem to pull out of it, and he keeps like snapping back into that. He's trying to walk over and be comforting, and instead he keeps getting snapped back into the reproachful, like sad, reproachful stare thing, and being forced into that. So the obvious way to help for the two people that are here, and you look, hold for a second, because I know that two of you helping isn't going to be enough to help to get you out of the 6, but the obvious way for you two guys to help is to step into your other shells. But it's bad enough that maybe what you do instead is yell for help. So rather than that, Concord, you have the capacity to yell for help from like Charlotte. I mean, you have that cosmic who's-majigger level of whatever. And you're not 100% sure, but something makes you think she could probably get here, wherever here is, for some value of here.
Mm-hmm.
And she's got the kind of
reach out with my powers, and hopefully she can also possess
Charlotte. We need
Silver
help.
Streak.
Well, yeah, when you think about possession and like we're losing against possession, I mean, Charlotte seems like a go-to person for a situation like that. I mean, not to put too fine a point on it, but also you're not entirely sure what would happen if you really, really cut loose with like the keynome powers inside Streak's head. That's
not where you want to go.
That's fraught. Not that Charlotte's powers haven't led to certain mental distress in the past either, but not that I'm judging.
Mm-hmm.
Not judging. I'm pointing and laughing. It's totally different. So that's an option on the table. What do you do, and sort of what do you do to help?
Bill will be right back.
Well, even though Bill just stepped away, he's
got food coming, I think.
Yeah, his previous statement had been from Link, do whatever you think is appropriate. And right now, with Harry not doing this well, it's like, okay, this is going to take a skill set that none of us have, and that's talking to people. Well,
I don't know if that's fair, but you and Bill do lots of talking to people, but usually not grown-ups. Actually, yeah, you're good at talking to people who aren't grown-ups.
Yeah, so
you specifically.
I think that is definitely the time to reach out and try to grab for Charlotte here.
Okay. All right. Do you now? You can certainly say, "Hey, come help." What do you actually do specifically to help Harry yourself?
Well, given that I thrust us in here,
it's like, I'm going to use the manipulated keynome move on the yellow ball in front of streak. No, I'm thinking of the worst possible answer you could make.
Worst.
Well, okay. Bad?
Go for the giant laser beam.
Yeah.
That's
Do a giant laser beam on on everybody at the table. What could go wrong?
what that couldn't go badly. Yeah, I think Adam's
Doc.
only.
No, go ahead.
Good. Down.
Only course of action here is like I don't know. I feel like reach over and try to pull Harry free.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So you shout for help and reach over to kind of try to pull Harry out of whatever he's got going on there, or at least reach out to him. So you reach out and grab Harry's wrist, and then something reaches out and takes hold of your wrist, and you look to your side and you see the big starry-eyed gaze of yourself looking deep into your own eyes. Except you realize it's not like starry-eyed metaphorically. It's like eyes full of stars. And you're like, oh crap, this is a tar baby. Leo, are you back?
Yes.
All right. So Harry's struggling with sort of trying to take control of the narrative. I'm trying to put this in link terms. I think that would be, break the cycle, break the mechanics of this thing. That doesn't seem to be going very well. Concord sort of reached out and grabbed. So now his other, inserting himself into this thing along with Harry has gotten the attention of his other self that seems to be messing with his ability to mess with this. Okay, hang on, let me look. Okay, I gotta look at this thing. Oh, I see. Oh yeah, Harry, you may first of all, James, thank you for the note. You may not need it depending on whether or not you get the help that you need.
Then I will take it back if need be.
So, Leo, what do you do?
Are we still at the point where we're assisting this superior move, or
Yeah, you can absolutely act to assist. Concord. So, cards on the table. You don't have enough points to fix this 4 up to a 7, obviously. But Concord yelled for help before he reached out to Harry. So theoretically, Ghost Girl and Alicia could show up, and you guys could do the when you face a foe thing and get some more team points on the table, and actually manage to pull this thing out of a spiral. So acting to help is entirely possible. You could also wait on that, so you could step into what everybody else does and just do something else entirely that involves not sort of specifically helping first.
I get the idea.
Yeah, you got options.
I got a different move then. I actually have just finished with this whole scenario. My dad did a lot worse than Silverstreak ever did. And Leo's not to the point where he's forgiving his dad, but he still loves him and he still wants to have him in his life. I will give Streak a face full of that feeling.
A face full of that feeling. Okay.
This is all in his mind. Do you think this is air you're breathing?
I love that. It's great. So are you?
Basically, Leo believes that metaphorical actions like this could work.
Are
And so he'll
you?
try that.
So what does that look like? Is this like a mind beam of acceptance? Or are you walking up to him and like grabbing him on either side of the face and saying, "Listen, you're not that." Like, what does it look like for this?
Well, so
Which
so
is it?
the so this glowing skein of yarn seems to be the central focus of this problem.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to be the way into him, so to speak. So Leo will be lightly touching that and just basically feeling and say, "Here, share this."
Ooh. Okay. I'm gonna hold on for just a second. I gotta flip up my mic for just a second, but yeah, we might jump to that move, and we're also gonna jump over to Charlotte for a second.
So did I just get like help, or was there anything along the message besides? Or we need help in the in Patrick's brain, or just help?
Well, this is Adam here. So, first of all, it probably came as probably came less as like a mental like
Is it like a Concord, like your double image thing?
No, it less likely came as like words and more of like this intense sense of panic from Adam and like a tug rope back.
I love that, and I entirely accept it. I will note parenthetically that there's a small part of me that wants Parker to have to deal with the fact that right after Ghost Girl showed up, a Concord construct just appeared right next to her and said, "Gigi, we need your help," and then left again. And Parker's like, just throwing up her arms, like, "Why do we even have security? Like, what that?" Yeah, like that. I know that's not what's happening. I am okay with that. I just want to say that's funny. So,
Okay.
moving on.
Now,
Parker tries to apprehend it and comes along when it snaps back.
I just picture Parker throwing up her arms, like, "Why do we even have security?" Anyway.
now I will say that definitely fits in with the tone that's going on. So,
Which one?
of
The construct
with,
thing and the weird.
Yeah, with what's going on with Alicia's story. So, if it helps that out, I'm all for it.
Yeah, and we've established you doubling up when you desperately need to be in two places at once. So I kind of like that through line, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah.
I like him. I like him showing up, but I like just the image of panic coming, directly to me.
Right.
That makes sense.
No, absolutely.
Because it's sort of adds that urgency. So the reason I was asking, because if it's just like Concord in a panic, calling for help, I don't know. If it's Concord with a definite I'm in somebody's brain, I might not bring Alicia with me. Right.
So,
but if it's Concord's construct there with just this look of panic on his face that says, I need you, then Alicia's coming with me if she thinks she'd not come with me.
So Charlotte, you were just in the process of sort of making your, making your farewells, and stepping towards the shadows, and you sort of feel and hear before you see and kind of turn back to Concord's image sort of being drawn like a wireframe in the air, like a 4th of July sparklers. Except the lines stay until it's like sort of fully realized. And like Parker's face past Alicia, like looking at the room, half shock, half wonder, because it's kind of cool looking, and exasperation, like, how am I supposed to, what, this is impossible, kind of, expression on her face. What does Concord say? Like, Charlotte, we need help. Harry's in trouble, or like, what does the construct say?
Well, I think Margie liked the feelings more.
Well, yeah,
And
that'll
I
definitely
think-
come as well, for sure. I just
So-
does he say anything, or is it all just like the emotional look that provides all the?
I think it's probably just the emotional look.
Okay, all right. Charlotte, what do you do?
So I Alicia and say, are you coming?
And Alicia, you get the same basic. I mean, you read body language and stuff like that, and this isn't obviously a body, but his poise, stance,
Panic?
everything in there, it isn't necessarily panic, but it's clear, raw, like I need help, like open, entreaty.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
It's open entreaty, which, and I want to ask this rather than say, what is Alicia's take on Concord with that kind of body language, knowing what you know about what Concord's capable of doing?
In part, okay, this is a teammate, and I'm supposed to go to their aid. In part, if he's in a panic, God only knows what's going to happen next.
Because I don't know how much Alicia. What I'm curious about is how much does Alicia parse this as? This is a 12-year-old who's, Will Robinson about some high stress thing, or, this is
No.
Captain Marvel
she's
who's
not,
like freaking out.
She is not dismissing his panic. She's processing both as what I'm supposed to be doing in this circumstance is going to a teammate's assistance. But there's also a strong streak of, this is Will Robinson, holding a thermal detonator with a panicky look on his face. We need to do something before he sets it off and kills us all.
That is an interesting take on that, because I've been wondering how she sees him, whether she sees him more as, Will
Young,
Robinson
immature, and holding an incredibly powerful gun.
So it's not Captain Marvel. It's okay. Because there's a different kind of.
You will then you're probably reading the panicked look of a 12-year-old much better than somebody who looks like an older teenager who looks childishly panicked.
Yeah. Because he's.
I also understand 12-year-olds in a panic, so.
There you go.
I don't know that you were ever really 12, Alicia.
Yeah, well, that's because I was in a panic most of the time.
She was. So, Ghost Girl says, are you coming? What do you do?
I doubt slightly.
I throw a look over at Parker with an apologetic shrug.
Her entire body language.
What am I supposed to do here except do this thing and grab onto Ghost Girl's hand?
And she kind of like flings a hand, like it's a combination of go right ahead and like, why even ask me? Why am I even here? Why don't I go bake some cookies? This is all pointless. It's just like.
And Ghost Girl, being always polite, will turn to her and say, apologies for having to run.
Yeah, Parker says none of this. This is all, elegant, frustrated Brit, just all over the place. Okay. All right.
More crowded in Silver Streak's head.
Right. So,
is there anything on the workbench here that I can grab?
Well, you were working on the batons.
I was working on I was working on the gloves at
Oh, you're
that
working on
point.
the gloves? Then the gloves. I mean, you have those in your hand. They're probably mostly functional.
Mostly functional? What could possibly go wrong? Hey, if I'm in someone's head, then if I think they're functional, that's Leo's theory, right?
Yeah. Sure. Why not? Okay. 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 Leo. So
Yep.
Charlotte, you kind of arrive. Alicia and Charlotte arrive. You see what we've said before. It's the meeting room of, and I don't think you guys have necessarily had a chance to sort of compare. No, I mean
No, we haven't
maybe.
talked.
Yeah, I don't think you've had a chance. It's been a couple of days, but I don't think necessarily Harry and Adam were being particularly forthcoming about that particular jaunt through Streak's head. But you're seeing, you immediately recognize that the meeting room where you met with the HHL. Charlotte, Alicia, you're kind of at sea a bit.
Yeah, I know what the meeting room of the HHL looks like. I've seen pictures.
That's deeply worried. Yeah, surveillance pictures, all from like really weird angles, but you've seen them.
Absolutely.
And you can figure out from there like who. And Streak's in focus. Tempest is kind of in focus. You can sort of figure out the rest from there. It's some kind of weird construct thing. Leo's walking across. Sorry. Harry is sort of struggling with. He's sort of enwrapped in his construct. Concord seems to be staring into the eyes of his construct. Leo's walking straight across to Streak, where this like yellow, glowing, weird, tangled ball of energy between his hands. He sits at the table and reaches out and sort of touches that and puts a hand on Streak's shoulder, like he's trying to like lean down enough to kind of get eye contact. And before we do anything else, I want to do I have the wrong move up here. Hang on a second. I want to do the team thing so we can figure out how much team is on the table, because we're down to one team. It shows two, but we're down to two. When you enter battle against a dangerous foe as a team, add 2 to the team pool. So we're up to that. Who's leading this melee?
Harry.
Harry, okay. Harry, does the leader have influence over every teammate? I think you probably just have to check for Alicia.
I do not have Alicia.
Okay, so that's a no. If everyone has the same purpose in the fight, add another team. That's tricky, but we'll see where we're at here. Harry, you're trying to get Streak out of this thing. Leo's already said that's kind of what he's here for, is to kind of snap Streak out of this shame spiral. Adam?
Help Harry.
I think help Harry still falls within the parameters of.
Oh no, I'm just like, no.
Well,
I thought about it for a second. I knew why I came here in the first place. So
yeah. Do you have you have that other motive, and it's a pretty strong one. Is that what's really?
That's probably what's really.
So the thought here
driving.
is like, yeah, we need to fix this so I can actually look around and see if I can find these other jerk holes, right? Like that's.
Well, it's more of like I needed to come here in order to do that.
Right.
But yeah.
So this is sort of almost instant. Okay, so that's probably clouding things a bit. So we won't even really have to go to Charlotte and Alicia, who's still trying to even figure out what the heck's going on, because Adam.
I was here to either rescue or subdue Adam, so.
Yeah.
I was gonna say support the team, because that's
nicely generic.
my go-to.
Adam's he broke the chain before that guy. If any team member mistrusts the leader or the team, Harry, do you mistrust the team?
No.
No. Charlotte, do you mistrust the team?
No.
No. Adam, do you mistrust the team or the leader? I guess I should ask.
Harry, no. Alicia, yes.
Okay. Well, okay. All right. So we move a team. Is your team ill prepared? We might end up with no points added to this. If your team is ill prepared or off balance, remove a team. I feel like half the team is off balance because we sort of dropped him in really quick. Is that fair?
Those two out with just a 1.
What's that?
Half the team is trusting and half the team is not off
Well,
balance.
yeah. So it's just a hot mess all the way around. This is probably the worst team tally we've had.
Thanks,
right.
Alicia.
Well, it's fine. There's still.
You're the one who grabbed me.
True.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to parse a lot of stuff that's happening right now. So give me a second because I got to get back over to that mind control or the. It's not exactly mind control. It's not mind control, but it's a strong thing. All right, so Harry mark potential. We finally got around to that. Mark potential, because I don't think they're going to be able to get you out of this 6 because we don't have enough team in the. We don't have enough, and I'm not going to take away the point for Adam using it because it wouldn't have mattered. Okay, so don't mark XP yet. Actually, I should say don't mark XP yet. It says character's name on it. When it has your note card with your name on it, read the command on the back to yourself. Then choose one. Oh my god, it's the worst. All right, so he gets the 6-, which is I give him some sort of thing for him to do that falls in line with the basic sort of programming of his shadow self. And if he does what the shadow self wants him to do, he marks potential and he's free once he does it. If he doesn't, he drops to his knees, clutches his head, marks potential, and takes a powerful blow. So
opportunity at double XP.
Yeah, opportunity for double XP. Go Harry! Woohoo!
Hey.
You're welcome, and I mean that from my heart. All right, so that's about to happen. In the meantime, we're gonna use this. So Link, who probably didn't realize he was doing this. Hang on, why isn't it? Oh, hang on. I gotta close this so it'll actually come over. Maybe? Sorry, there we go. Leo, this is effectively what you're doing.
That's what I figured.
Oh, did you? Oh, I thought I was gonna surprise you. I'll have to surprise you later. All right. When you attempt to rewire a keynome, choose its intended purpose, which you could probably go with either empowerment or energy siphoning. Either you're breaking this thing's hold or you're redirecting the power to cause any one effect. I mean, those are the ones that make the most sense to me. I mean,
That's fair.
You could go with neutron bomb inside Streak's head, but I think it would probably not achieve your goal. Except in the existential sense. He's free.
Well, apparently Alicia now thinks I'm a supervillain, so I'm just going to blow the world up.
Alicia thinks you're a supervillain? When did that happen?
Not yet. We haven't had that conversation.
All right, so just superior?
Okay. Yeah, just superior, I think. What do we got?
You got 12.
Oh my god. All right. We got a proper roll here. So, on a hit, rewire the keynome. It is not unstable. So, all right. Okay. That's gonna have obviously some massive effects here.
No, that's fine. The short version is Leo's attempting emotional judo by working around the guilt that Streak feels. Rather than challenging it head on, he's giving it something else to deal with.
Yeah. You can feel guilt, but it's not as bad. It could be so much worse.
And I also have something that I think my thing that would be useful. So
Okay. You might need to do it to fish Harry out of his soup. Okay, so let me type. I got to type up a thing here to Harry. Oh, Mercury. I started to type up Harry, and the game does not know who Harry is. Then we have to go back over to the other happy move. All right.
I've got something else I can cook up once my turn comes around again. So that would either be standalone or supporting Charlotte. So we'll see when that happens.
So Harry,
Okay, great.
you have your card. I think one of the reasons I love this particular quote unquote mind control thing is no matter how bad you roll, you never have to do it. It's just a question of how big of a hit you're willing to take to not do it. Like, you're never just a puppet, which as far as mind control goes, is probably the way to go. Harry has been handed a card with his compulsion instructions, should he choose to accept them.
He does not.
So, okay. So you then so Harry's got the sort of shadowy reflection of himself over top of, like, kind of surrounding himself. And it's trying to say stuff, and you can see Harry struggling to pull his head back, and it's doing that speedster, like, vibrating, jerking around, really kind of creepy possession kind of thing that'll happen sometimes, where he's sort of resisting that, and it keeps going faster and faster until the shadow self actually kind of pulls free and tears away, like it's trying to pull at Harry, and Harry's trying to pull back, and it kind of pulls away. And as it's doing that, it's actually losing cohesion, possibly because of something Leo's doing. But Harry, in the effort to do this, sort of drops to his knees and just like, ugh. So, Harry, you mark the potential from the 4 and roll, take a powerful blow. This is not your special move. This is just a plain old take a powerful blow.
Darn.
Well, you're fighting yourself, so it's not really a superior opponent. It's just you.
Myself generated by the keynome, which theoretically is a far greater power.
Except it's not. It gives you what you put into it.
I can't remember whether I want high or low.
You want low. It's an 8. Now, I will say, wait, does this work? Can you help to push the number down? This works, right? Or am I messing that up? Because I could see where we're inside somebody else's head and he's taking a psychic blow for people to kind of help if they were inclined to help. But what are you guys' thoughts on this? I feel like people could help with. Normally, I don't do help on take a powerful blow, but this kind of feels like it could.
There's one way you can take advantage of your influence over someone. Surrender the influence you hold to choose one. Give them -2 on a move they just made.
Oh.
Yep, and
Ooh.
Adam was already helping with that. So I could totally just sort of yell at Harry a little bit while I'm doing this. It's like, come on, Harry, you're better than this.
And kind of
And,
now,
yeah.
because it's harsh words in an emotionally fraught situation, you sacrifice your influence, right? But it gives them the penalty.
It's sort of that tough love move.
I like it, and you were already, like you say, you were already going to help and spend the points, but we didn't end up using it, so this would help in that situation. So, okay, what do you say? What do you specific as he's like tearing loose of this and like shaking his head and going, I'm not saying it, and
yeah, it's just like, damn it, Harry, I've got better things to do here than help you with your dad.
That's perfect, man. Oh my god. Oh my god, that's terrible and perfect. All right.
We're all suddenly run over by the bus that you threw Streak under. Good job.
Wow. Okay, Harry, that pushes, it gives you a penalty or roll. That pushes your thing down to a 6 for take a powerful blow, which actually gives you potential. So you get a second potential, and you stand strong. You mark potential as normal and say how you weathered the blow. So you're starting to like sort of crumple under this. And can I say part of it is you didn't want to say it because it's so bad, but at the same time, there is this tiny little secret part of you that really, really did want to say it. Or maybe this whole construct has just convinced you that that's true. This is kind of a Jessica Jones Purple Man kind of thing. Like you don't want to do it, but he makes you actually want to do it. Even though you don't, but you do. Kind of, you don't even know. Really, was it me or him? So that's part of what you're dealing with is you're going down and then Concord, kind of gives you an airplane-like face slap.
It's your reset button.
It hits your reset button. How do you react to
Hard
this?
boot.
Not on mute. I'm just thinking.
Right. No, that's fair. Got a couple 6s that were pulled out by a 12. It's exactly how it should go. Has every super genius now had an opportunity to try to rewire a keynome? I'm just checking in. I got boxes to check off here.
I don't know, but I have something to do that.
No more rewiring the keynome.
I don't want to rewire it. I just want to possess it.
That's not better.
Leo's tapping out.
Great.
What I think how Harry reacts is
I mean, you lose influence. You could certainly give him a pretty pained, angry expression. It's not.
I lost my influence over here.
Oh, I'm sorry. You lose your right. You lose your influence over Harry. Sorry, that's right.
gives these sad puppy dog eyes of disappointment.
Oh, jeez. Except you do them to Concord. See, I mean, it is Harry, like, sort of rejecting you a little bit. So it really, I mean, it makes sense for him to kind of give you that kind of a look, because you're losing your ability to sort of influence him. So that kind of tracks. But yeah, the sad puppy dog eyes that Ghost Harry has been giving his dad are now leveled at. Yeah, we just start handing around, take a powerful blow, no, over and over again. No, it's fine. So the hurtful look. Link. What did we end up going with there? Did we go with the channeling the energy away, like changing it? What does this look like? Is the siphoning or the?
I mean, if I'm forced to pick from this list, I would probably say energy siphoning, but I would call it emotional energy rather than
the
5,000 power or whatever.
I guess what I'm asking is, are you trying to strengthen ultimately what you're doing here strengthening Streak or weakening this thing that has a hold on him?
It has to be strengthening Streak by letting him know that forgiveness is possible. It's giving him hopefully a feeling that he didn't think was going to come his way. You know?
Yeah.
Like the nature of the spiral is he doesn't think that he deserves forgiveness. He doesn't think he can get out of this. That much was clear, and now he's just got this new thing, like basically plugging the drain.
Okay. All right. And you see Streak kind of focus on you. Those of you who are not actually Link can see, like, as he starts to focus on Link, just for a second, Link gets whizzies behind him. Because once again, he's doing the heroic pose thing. He doesn't look like a heroic pose, but it kind of is that way. And it kind of shakes that off and kind of actually focuses and looks around and stands up and sort of steps back from the table and blinks kind of and like, what? What? Where are we? What happened? Actually, he'll finish that by saying, Harry? Harry?
Hey, Dad. It's a bit of a long story, but we'll have plenty of time to tell it to you when we...
When we what?
We're out of here.
Oh, when we get... Where are we? I mean, by all means, man, show me the door. I'm ready to go, buddy. And you see, as he says that, around the room, all of the HHL members stand up and look at him. Even Tempest. It's not a good look. It's not a comforting look. There's a sense of menace. And he kind of glances their general direction and is like, okay. Charlotte, what do you do?
Now, I'm not sure if what I wanted to do makes sense. So...
Well, that's okay. It may not. So you may want to shift around a little bit. So the situation is basically Streak seems to be coherent. Okay. Do you have? Let me ask you this: do you know where you are?
I was going to ask you that because
okay,
I'm just curious, like with my unseen world. I mean, how do I perceive what's in here?
This is not the same thing. It's definitely not the same thing. I'm not sure if you would necessarily. You're getting a really weird sense of it. It honestly, it feels more like the thing that it feels the most like is when you and Jason were both in your head together. That's what it feels the most like. That it's not like the Shadow Realm. It's not like
right.
It's not like CPU. It's not. It's like being all in the same head together, but with better VR. Like Before it was just like this sort of crowded thing where you're both like you can't see either one of you, but you're both trying to look out of the same viewport. And in this, you're like more like, but it still definitely feels like you're bound in a nutshell, kind of thing. Do you? I mean, if the thing that you do is just hang back and see what the heck happens, that's totally fine. So,
Tell me about the ball of yarn now. What does it look like?
it seems to, well, it's shifted. I'm going to get the colors wrong, but it shifted like from a yellow to more of a red, and it's sort of sending, it seems to be subtly streaming. This would be like a Doctor Who special effect. So it's really kind of soft energy sort of swirl, almost like steam off a cook pot, sort of feeding toward Streak. And, you know, getting wrapped up in his aura and that sort of thing, and sort of reinforcing that. Leo's taken a step back from it. So it's more of a multicolored ball of yarn now than it was. And you're not sure that it's entirely there. Like you're not sure it's a real thing. It may be the after image of a thing, or it's you're not sure what that thing is. It doesn't. It sort of reminds you of the thing that you guys used to get back from the sepia verse, but in a weird, like in another way, not like more of the memory of the thing than the thing itself.
Okay. Your image.
Yeah.
Oh, I know that's a keynome.
It's a keynome or something, and it's
keynome-esque.
It is it's definitely something. It's enough.
It looks like Adam didn't handle that. I mean, Leo, excuse me.
Yeah, when you say it's only a sliver of a keynome, that's one thing, but then it's a sliver of an infinite thing. Is that really any less infinite? Who knows? Maybe not.
It's like
maybe
saying
yes.
It's a small nuclear device in a room versus a large nuclear device in a room. It's still not good for anybody in the room.
Fair enough. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. I was thinking that would be sort of the most advantageous here, and I'm not quite sure, if it still fits. I was feeling that so much of this was, the negativity being or projected from Silver Streak, and
there's still some of that. There's not a.
Yeah.
The potential malice in the room, or the danger in the room, is not gone. It's shifted, and it's maybe on its back foot, certainly, but it's definitely not entirely absent.
What does our favorite witch look like right now?
Still yellow. Like all of the other members of the thing, they seem to not like Streak saying, "I want to get out of here." And she's sort of centrally located in all this, which I don't think, in your memory, is not where she was sitting when you guys were having the conversation. She's sort of like at much closer to the head of the table, and might sort of be the focus of this angry regard. I'll let you ponder that for just a second. Alicia, what the heck are you making of all this?
Well, clearly we're not in Kansas anymore.
No.
This looks like the HHL headquarters room, but it almost certainly doesn't feel like it.
What? I mean, does Alicia have a frame of reference for this VR mental training? Has she ever been subjected to psychotropics as a training exercise?
Oh, that's probably something her dad would have done. Since
Yeah,
he's kind of more into the chemical stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see. What? What is Adam doing at the moment? So it's still kind of weird. I know he shouted at Harry, lost the track of what he's actually in the middle of doing.
Adam was like he had been sort of not grappling but holding on to Harry, and when
Harry
started to go down, he kind of yelled at him a little bit to kind of like snap him out of it. You know, and it was an interesting thing that he said, because you would have definitely caught that. I didn't come here to. What did you say? How did you put it?
I have better things to do here than help you with your dad.
Which is weird when you're inside your dad's head, that there's something better for him to be doing than you know. But that does at least indicate what the heck they were going. You don't necessarily have to do anything. I'm more just trying to give Alicia a frame of reference on this stuff.
No, that's fine. I'm also. I mean, if there's some palpable menace from the HHL mannequins, I'll definitely be keeping an eye on that. Anything from the menagerie mannequin?
Yeah. The Harry mannequin's kind of not. He's not really a factor. The rest of them are all kind of looking somewhat to their counterparts more than anything else. They're not looking at Streak. They're looking at each of you. Jason is of course looking at Alicia, because some things never change. So yeah, but the sense of menace is definitely still there. Except,
from them as well.
You know what? It's the thought that pops into your head is white blood cells. There's some kind of not necessarily helpful defense mechanism going on there, possibly.
But defending who against what?
Exactly. So
okay.
I'll let you dig it out. Leo just said something I'm very curious about.
I'm going to finish slowly pulling on my gloves.
Okay, yeah. And try not to anger anybody. And you have to wonder, it's like, if we're in a thing, do I really have these gloves? Is this air I'm breathing? Yeah, we're back to that again. Leo, you were saying Leo's got something that Gigi and Alicia could definitely jump in on?
If they're interested in going with something, yeah. If they have something that they want to do on their own, I'd rather wait for them to do that. But
I don't have anything in particular I'm doing on my own, except kind of getting ready for something to break.
And Gigi's, you were parsing all that. I don't know if you came to some conclusion about how you wanted to address this. I got a question here for Adam as well. Actually, I had questions for everybody, but Gigi, I want to loop back to you and see if you had, if you're in a wait and see mode or.
Oh, my original idea was to actually try a comfort and support on Silver Streak, talking about how he exemplifies the best parts of the world today, and all that he's contributed to in all of all that he's contributed, all of the good work he's done, what a great dad he's been, all of that sort of thing.
I am gonna let me put a pin in that, but I like that. Have you comfort and support's off mundane, right? I think, yeah.
Freak.
Oh, you get to do it off of Freak because
when I'm referring to it as part of the modern world.
Right. Yeah, I have a fun thing to do there with that. So just hang on to that because I like that idea.
It's better than me trying to possess the keynome.
Adam, yes, it is. I mean, to be fair, that's a
exceptions. Maybe we'll do that.
I mean, to be fair, that's a very low bar you just set yourself. But I need to come up with a better idea than possessing the keynome. Okay, well, pick anything else and you win. Adam, you see Harry give you the look, the hurt puppy dog look, the kicked puppy dog look, but he snapped out of it. So mission accomplished. What are you doing? I mean, you just said you've got something better to be doing. What are you doing?
Eyes all around me, like just looking around, just like, okay, We did something weird here. Are they showing up? Are they showing up?
Okay, so you're all right. All right. You're looking for the
Signs of them,
of
of their influence here.
of the them.
The them. We'll work a good omens.
I am going to have. I just I want to see here. I'm going to have you roll assess the situation
Okay.
to see if. Man, I want you to unleash your powers, but that's not what it is. So.
I need to remember anything about this.
So you want
assess
superior.
the situation. Superior. Got it.
Superior. Yep. It's things that you don't need to roll very often. Oh my God. Double sixes. Boxcars. All right. Well, take a look at the assess the situation move and see if you can.
That's what I should have been doing.
Assessing the situation.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's okay. That's always kind of a good Alicia move.
I always forget to do it as a character thing.
And it's a lovely thing to give yourself like +1s, all that kind of stuff.
So I have my 2 questions here.
All right, let's hear them.
Obviously, what here's the biggest threat?
Okay. The thing on the table is lending in some fashion. It may or may not be a keynome. You're not 100% sure, and you really don't want to necessarily find out because that could have deleterious effects on all kinds of things. But whatever it is, it's adding a lot more weight and strength and power to the landscape, to Streak's landscape. So everything here is just, it's much more real and a hell of a lot more dangerous. And you're already like mind-to-mind contact, so danger is kind of a given. You know what I mean? So the biggest threat here is that if something spirals or goes bad here, it could potentially get very bad. It could get very bad. So the mannequins and stuff, those are not empty little puff clouds of nothing. They definitely have an effect on. They could definitely affect you. This is just as dangerous as picking a fight with the HHL maybe would have been just in the middle of the room when they were just all actually sitting there. In some ways, it may be more dangerous. So that's the biggest threat. And what was your other question? Whether or not you want to directly do anything about that or just try to get away from it, I don't know. But you'll have a +1 for whichever thing you decide.
Mm-hmm. And then for my second question, it is, what here can I use to determine if they are watching?
The yellow thing on the table.
Okay.
What's the most dangerous thing? That thing on the table. What can I use to do what I want? That thing on the table.
Thanks, Joyce.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you get a +1 to either one of those things. You are welcome.
All right. So I guess then using that information, Adam is just, as soon as he notices Silver Streak out of it and what he's, and what he thinks that thing is, it is just going to be like a quick shout at him is like, Mr. Gale, when you were dealing with the Veritovians, did you touch, and I'm just going to go with the description out of the book.
Sure.
Because they have all those pictures. It's like, did you touch a little metal sphere with light coming out of it?
Because none of the keynomes have looked like that yet. So it might be that. No, that's good because they all look different. They don't any of them look like that. So you know.
Oh, okay.
But there's nothing saying that one wouldn't. In fact, the one Viertovia owns should totally look like that.
Well, there's a bunch of them in the Masks book.
In the Masks book, really?
They're playing football with it on like the big opening picture.
On the front of the book?
Not on the front of the book. It's like as soon as you open the book.
I don't have the book up here.
Page 2.
They're playing football with a keynome? You guys are. I'm not. That's. Clearly, our keynomes are different.
Yeah, there is a picture
I
of.
remember keynomes very differently.
There's a picture towards the back of the Farlander holding up like two of them or something.
Jesus Christ. Okay, well, clearly ours are more. Those are certainly probably powerful. I think our keynomes are probably a little bit closer to the Infinity Stone side of the scale.
All right.
They're not quite that bad, but anyway. All right. So did you just? Yeah. I was trying to get it away from them.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Okay.
And
wait. Go ahead. Say what you're gonna say. Everybody's.
It was a really bad idea last time, and it's the only thing Adam knows what to do with them.
Well, it's just what exactly?
Well, he's got one.
Oh God. Okay.
You thought my idea was bad.
No one can eat just one.
To be fair, Charlotte, it was bad. That does not make this any more or it's still horrible. It's just a different kind. I mean, his bad idea does not make your idea not also terrifying.
I'm pretty sure it does. Pretty sure it does.
Okay, hang on. I'm sorry. Hang on just 1 second here because I gotta. I'll be right back. See, I always thought the stuff that the Farlander had was holding was like his gadgets off of his belt. I didn't even think that they were keynomes, but that certainly makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if you take a look through the book, there's like 20 of them all throughout.
I've never seen that. I gotta go look now. Keynome-reinforced.
Yeah, there's a.
I don't have the book, so I don't
whatever her name is, catching one of them. They're playing football with them on the back cover. It's.
Oh my God.
There's just a couple of loose ones to fill out stuff.
I just figured they were like Kirby balls. I didn't realize that they were actually the keynomes. All right. That's terrifying. We don't have that many keynomes, just FYI. Where are they described in the book? I never heard them described. First time I ever saw any kind of description of them is in the Halcyon City Herald.
Brendan Conway.
Oh,
when he was talking about
he described
stuff.
It's not in the book though.
No.
So
I guess the thing I remember him talking about them is somebody asking what all of them were.
Interesting.
And him talking about it during one of the podcasts. And
I would love to hear that. That's really interesting. I mean, it's not going to change anything with us, but
yeah, I'm trying to remember which one it was.
All right, not a big deal. Not a big deal for right now.
Yeah.
All right, let me see if I can parse the order of these things. All right. So, Charlotte, you were going to walk up and do a comforter support. Right?
Yeah.
I like that. And I like what you were going to say where you go up and you exemplify the best in heroics and so on and so forth.
You've done all these great things. You're a great dad. You've really supported the menagerie,
Okay. So I want you, so by all means roll freak. Do you have? Let me just look at something here real quick, though. I don't think it's gonna matter, but let me look real quick.
Have any conditions? Oh my God.
You don't have any conditions? Well, there you go then. All right, so go ahead and roll freak, but you're not going to get the comfort and support menu of results. But that's
It's okay. I
not,
wasn't expecting that.
yeah. I mean, partly because you're an NPC, he's an NPC, but also, okay, so an 8. Okay,
So
so
the move is called In Good Spirits. So when we
right. No, and I'm
write
familiar
this
with
up,
that's
letting Dave know so when we write this up.
okay.
Whew.
So what what I want you to do is look at the menu of options for directly engage a threat. Because what you're doing is dealing a blow to his sort of constructed doubts and fears and so forth, which in this case can actually physically harm you. All of you, not you specifically, but everybody.
I think taking something from them is probably not the easy solution it sounds like it should be.
I
Take
mean,
straight from them.
I mean, you certainly could, because
I'm thinking more like create an opportunity for your allies.
yeah, you could
Yeah,
also. Okay, go ahead.
finish what you're saying.
No, it's fine. So creating an opportunity for your allies, because I mean I like that because it definitely shows people the route to
Beating this?
and that definitely I think that definitely makes sense. Um, so yeah, that totally works. Now, all right, you got an 8, so that's trading blows. You're going to create an opportunity for your allies. He sees this and you can actually see him kind of stand straighter and focusing on you.
That it's the ball that we're fighting in this.
Kind of.
In a way.
It's that. It's certainly that's lending the strength and the weight to this thing. When you're doing this, you're seeing this, and you feel that sense of accomplishment of having seen him react and stand up straight. You hear Hecate hiss,
"Yeah,
get away from him, you abomination!" And these eldritch bolts slam into you, and it hurts and kind of knocks you back, and it probably one of the things, something that's hit you more has hit you as solidly as anything has since you've gotten back here. These are big hits, so I want you to take a powerful blow.
Okay.
Because I don't want to say what condition you would take from this, so we're just gonna let this thing figure it out. Luckily, you have no conditions.
What I'm wrong there?
You're just rolling conditions. It's the one that's up above conditions. That's yay! No, that's good though. Double ones.
Double ones.
We got double
Take
sixes.
that, Goodrich scholars.
All right, so you get potential and you stand strong from this thing. So you basically just brush off the attack. You kind of feel the pain as a conceptual thing, like you're reading about it.
Right. Through me in some way, or
yeah. What is it? I mean, do you just absorb it and just kind of go, okay, all right, I'm fine, or is it pass just straight through, like you're not really there, or it's not really there, or?
What I'd like to say, since it's sort of like standing strong, I see it coming through me, and I don't let it affect me.
Okay, I love it.
It's sort of like it just comes and it neutralizes.
Okay.
Like there's nothing there for it to hit. Just like it dissipates.
Okay. Love it. Harry, Charlotte has shown you how you can like get to your dad. What do you do? Since
I for it.
you're breaking up a little bit. Go say again.
I go for it.
So what do you are you talking to him? You gonna go over and tickle him? What's just thinking of the most ridiculous thing I could say.
Or does he go after Hecate?
Well, no, I mean the blows that you're dealing are you build up streak and it weakens the rest of them. They're fighting back, but that's not they're strong.
Right, you can't engage them directly.
Well, you could, but they're kind of straw men. It's not the point. The point is to connect to streak. So, I mean, you might be able to come at it sideways like that, maybe. But
thing Alicia would do.
going after Hecate.
Yeah.
I'm patiently waiting for a.
Well, Harry sort of gets double bonus to initiative because A, he's a
Yeah.
speedster, and B, it's his dad, so I should really make sure he can do a thing. I mean, the opportunity that Charlotte showed you is to reach out and sort of basically comfort and support your dad. Like now that you have him actually hearing your words, like do something with that.
Talking to him worked so well last time.
And by last time you mean every time ever?
Influence over him.
Yeah, you do.
So talking to him worked at least once.
It did. What do you want to? If so, what do you say? Or do you go over there and I mean, I don't know. Would you tell me? Who that works too. I was gonna go with tickle, but no. Tickling probably wouldn't help.
I think, give him a hug, say that mom is waiting for us back home.
Ooh. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. All right.
That's when Tempest attacks him.
Well, we'll see how that actually works. Just looking over here at Mercury's thing. I love the move. I am. The GM is afraid, but that's okay. The GM has the condition of afraid because it's mundane.
Really.
Yeah, you're not necessarily good at opening up like this, which is fine. But it's a little bit scary.
Authority instead?
What's that?
Can I do symbol of authority instead?
What's symbol of authority? Let me look at that. I don't even know what that. Let me look.
It doesn't really work.
No, that's not really it. No. I mean, you do get it's not terrible because, you do get a +1 for it because you have influence over them. Is that right? Yeah, you get a +1 on it, and anybody you have influence over,
right?
What's that? No, that just creates that doesn't have like a mechanical handing them a +1 kind of a thing. It creates the space to do a thing that they wouldn't otherwise necessarily. You're showing them this is legitimately exactly what you need to do, kind of deal in this case. But you do get a +1 because you have influence over them, so that negates the -1 that you have from your mundane not being good. So at least you're rolling straight dice. What could go wrong? I'll say it this time so you don't have to.
roll of the night.
For you. I like it.
My victories where I can.
Charlotte, if you want to help him get to a 10, it would totally make sense that your thing that you showed him how to do is the reason that he gets another +1 and takes it
I
to
would
a
love
10.
to do that. I mean, especially since I'm still there in front of him. So
and you had shown
we're
him the
sort of
way,
both.
so you don't even have to actually
Oh,
you don't even actually have to actually do anything additional. You can just
hand on him and give his shoulder a little squeeze.
Nice. Nice. I like that. All right. So again, Harry, rather than picking off the comfort and support, you can do the directly engage thing. If you want to make your life easy, one of those options can be resist or avoid their blows. But you're basically attacking them with love.
Awesome.
Take something from them? Is that what you said?
I was looking at them.
Oh, okay. Concord, while he's looking at that, you should look at rewire. Didn't I have you do the rewire a keynome thing to do it last time?
It was either that or I just
Oh, you
burned.
You did burn and you like gated it into yourself or something crazy like that?
Yeah. So I can burn. I am really bad at burning right now, so bad things are likely going to happen.
Well, okay. I don't know that that's not true either way, but whew. Okay. Yeah, go ahead and burn.
It may not be entirely necessary.
Go ahead and burn while you're standing inside of. Actually, it's.
I am going to take my +1 though.
Oh yeah, because you got the +1 for futzing with the keynome thing. I'm not going to call it a keynome directly. Okay, that's an 8. So is that a condition for you?
Yep, I am afraid.
Clearly.
Because I'm worried about this thing.
Okay. So you got your 3 you've got your 3 burn, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to do what with this thing? What is this? What do you do? Besides light up like a Roman candle.
Yeah. Is basically what happened the last time, where it's like reach out, start absorbing power, and try to pull it in so that it can't cause problems here.
Okay. So just for the record, I had 4 things on my bullet list tonight. We got into one of them. And I am just going to make sure. Yep. Oh man, I really wanted to get to the thing with Leo too, and I'm not going to. All right, that's all right. All right, so Leo came in and kind of woke Streak up, and he stands up, and he steps back, and when he says he wants to go, all the other shadow guys come in, turn, and there's the menace, and Charlotte steps forward and deals him another blow, and they try to attack and they can't, and Harry comes forward and gives his dad a hug and says, "What was it? Let's go home. Mom's waiting for us." Is that yeah? And he hesitates, and you actually see like the shadowy figures, sort of like all of them, like sort of raising an arm and leveling it, and Concord steps forward and like reaches out, kind of extends his arm not unlike the mannequins, and to the globe, and starts sucking power away from it. And as he's sucking that power, he's also getting like sort of the shadowy essences of the mannequins. And he's just pulling all of that in. And he's getting he's getting them, he's getting the energy off the globe, he's getting the walls, he's getting the table, he's getting like, it's like he's pulling away, like pulling the pieces of the room away in dust motes and sort of sucking it all up to pull it away. But as he's pulling away pieces of the wall and stuff, you're seeing the hospital room on the other side of that. As this continues to happen. And so he's pulling at it and pulling this away more and more in this great wind, and it all kind of goes white. And when you can kind of blink and see again, you're all of you standing around Streak's bed, kind of, touching hands. Tempest is there, and she looks up and she looks at Harry and she looks at Concord. She kind of starts when she sees that Charlotte and Alicia are also in the room, and she's like, did it, and right about then Streak like blinks his eyes and opens up and goes, oh, that was really weird. Oh, hey, sweetie. And she just kind of gasps, and she's blinking back tears. And Concord's probably the one that she probably paused on because he's in full on kind of Concord fire aura around the head sort of thing at this point.
I'm probably burning with that yellow energy at this point too.
Yellow, reddish, it's all kind of in there. And okay, I gotta get this up. Not so much what do you do, but what does anybody say or do or anything? Or are you just kind of trying to stay out of this? Harry, what do you do? Because your mom and dad are sort of laughing and crying and hugging, and
Who gets the stage first?
Harry gets the stage first, yeah.
I don't know.
They're
Glad to have you home, Dad.
Well, I gotta say, kiddo, I'm glad to be back. Man, that was really, and right about then, the entire wall of the hospital room, the exterior wall of the hospital room, rips out of the wall, like rips away, and just you're up on like you're up on a higher floor. I don't know why I can't. Hang on, this thing is being really persnickety. There we go. That's better. Nice. All right. The whole like wall kind of tears away, and sort of floating out in the air, outside the hospital are these three dudes.
Is that who you're looking for?
And they say they're looking into the room, like floating out there, like probably 10 meters. And they say in unison, looking into the room, "What have you done?"
Oh, come on.
And we're going to stop there.
Yeah,
Alicia will finally get to do and or punch something next session. I swear to God.
Oh, promise!
I promise.
I see 3 targets.
I promise. I will put you in a situation where you get to do a thing. Sorry, man.
No problem.
You pulled short straw like two sessions in a row here at least.
That's okay.
All right.
The less I get to do in the game, the more I have to write. You've been warned.
Okay. Right. Next time it's all Alicia. All Sasha. Kidding. All right. So, and I owe lots of people because I've got stuff I had written down for basically everybody, and I didn't get to any of it because this got a lot more complicated than I thought it was going to.
Hey, that's all good. Good story.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
Oh,
sure
yeah.
that's how every game has gone.
Well, yeah, no. Some I get through a lot of stuff. This one was like, let's figure out what's going on with Streak. That was my notes on this game for this part. Let's find out what's going on with Streak. This is how I prep. Are you all very impressed with my prep?
That's what I do.
Results are
Yeah.
good.
Okay. All right. Just so you know, so you have this to look forward to, Leo, I know what the answer is to that big thing you want to talk to your dad about.
Okay.
So you have that to look forward to. It took me a long time, but I'm finally happy with myself. So there you go. Okay. Harry. Closer to the team, further away from the team, more into your own image of yourself.
Ah. I think.
I can see arguments for every single one of those things. So
Yeah, that's the problem. I think I'll go with Charlotte.
closer to the team and giving influence to Charlotte.
Yeah, since
I like it.
she was the one who hit me with the final push.
Showed you how to showed you what you could do or how to do it. Or just said, go talk to your dad and give him a hug, you.
Have influence, so I will
Shift labels.
labels.
Charlotte, closer to the team, further away from the team, more into your own image of yourself.
I think that we can like have the entire team inside of somebody's brain without saying that you're feeling closer to the team.
Oh, there's ways. Adam might be demonstrating that in a second.
What would make you say that?
I'm just saying the option's there for you. The next time that Leo rewires the keynome, I want it to be the one that is inside Concord. Anyway, okay. So Charlotte,
Everybody got to play with the keynome except me. You know, it's not fair.
No one let me play with the keynome.
you can, and no one ever will. Well, I'm just saying you've got one to mess with. He's walking around next to you. Charlotte, closer, further, self.
Closer to the team. And
Closer to the team and what? Who gets influence?
was it Mercury?
You're
Sorry. Broke out.
We're
for
not
that.
hearing you again.
That's okay. I heard her when she said the Mercury thing at the end. Leo. What's
I'll say closer to Mercury for having supported him, helped get his dad back.
I like it.
No, Mercury's just gonna have his labels pushed all over the freaking place tonight.
Well, no, Mercury in this case gets influence.
I get
so-
move people's.
Yeah, Mercury gets to, in this case, shift Leo's labels probably, because if he has influence. If he already has influence. Concord.
I am. So I was originally thinking grow further away from the team. However, I don't think the only person I think he would like take influence away from is Mercury, but I think he'd still have influence here. So I'm just going to do grow into your own image.
Okay. That's fair. So shift your own labels. And finally, Alicia.
I will have to say closer to the team, and I'm gonna have to give it again to
Charlotte?
Charlotte because she
She
wanted me
included
along
you.
for this,
She included
All right.
you.
and
Like-
and that means she gets to go and explain to Parker.
Say, I wanted you to come along, and at the same time, I tweaked Parker's nose, so you feel good about that.
Yep. There's no bad there. Okay, so on my to-do list after these 3 Yahoos is like wrapping up some of the stuff that's still on the Rossum arc, and also, damn it, House Hunters Layer Edition. That's
We might
coming.
just have to do a Wednesday Gleam or something like that, just to do the House
I
Hunters.
don't know if
I will just say, Joyce, if you get my stuff wrapped up, I can switch PCs and then you can start messing with that character. So
Well, no, there's 2 things we got to do with you, and one of them is the vector thing, and one of them is and that's actually just the thing with your dad is just a conversation. We might
right, but I'm saying like if you get Vector out of the way, then you have
yeah.
all new PC territory to play with, and Link doesn't have to make decisions about a base that he's never going to occupy as a PC.
That's true. Oh, that's true. That's a good point. Getting that happening in the right order. And you know what? That conversation with your dad could actually happen during the week. If you're game for that.
I heard could actually, but I assume it was followed by happen on the forums, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I cutting out?
You did just then, yes.
Super weird. Okay, yeah, we could totally do that on the forums. I think it'd be kind of fun to write that out. Partly because Rossum's fun to write. I'm gonna have to have him take a vested interest in still communicating with your creations when Leo goes a little bit more
Of course.
NPC-ish. That's super. Oh my
Well,
God.
one thing Leo tends to do is to be visiting with his dad more often. He justifies that by saying maybe I can keep him more under control for Aegis to sell them on it, and then he just wants to say maybe this is just what he wanted, and maybe I should give it to him. So he will have a chance to do that as part of that process.
But I'm saying like I want him to take a vested interest in like Summer.
Well, she would be part of that process as well.
I think of her as like a granddaughter. An uncle? Great uncle? I am a great uncle.
I am playing really hard in the background here.
That's pretty funny. All right. Okay. So that streak sorted. Or sorted. SORDID. Who knows? All right. Guys, thank you very much. That was an interesting thing. Man, this game, as I said before.
I want to say real briefly, you guys also missed the chance to see Darklink in action, which was if the HHL Phantoms had gotten too much of a trouble, he would have brought back the conversation Numa had with Hecate and said, she did it. She did all this, and recite the details of that conversation and turn his guilt on her. But that didn't happen, so everything's happy.
Yeah, we still need to dodge that. Hecate has been very low key, very low profile following the whole Sepiaverse stuff. She's just trying to stay.
She's been very low key, brother of Thor, I think you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. Or Hela. All right, guys, thank you very much. Tons of fun. Next week, we get to see what's going on with these fellas, these people, these days. I have to go back and bone up on all their little color-coded abilities that has me very confused. The color thing always, trying to sort out who can do what is always kind of interesting. Also, I might have to go and find Mike's other art having to do with these people.
Other art having to do with it.
Yeah, you know the other art.
Why did you remind me about art I forgot? I already have so much art that I've already lost.
Well, you didn't lose. Well, okay. This art isn't art you forgot. You got it to me, and now it's safe, where I can use it against you. Right?
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's lovely. All right. Thanks very much, guys. I will talk to you later. And yeah, Harry can be worried about why I was asking about his family's arch nemesis for yet another week. Yay. No, not yay. Probably not yay. All right. Good
Yeah.
night, guys.
Good night.